200 miles a damn hour. The Supercars at Watkins Glen in our 5th season of the ARC's Race of Champions. This is going to be something. It's the first time in 5 seasons that we've put these Supercars out on the reins. So let's see what happens. Noah Belleville will have control of the field as we come to the green. 20 laps at Watkins Glen. Green flag is out. Let's go racing. Trying to navigate up the S's on this extremely wet racetrack. Let's go on board with Matt Seeger. With Toby Estes now, you can hear just the grit coming out from the underside of his race car. Matt Seeger on the outside headed into the boot. Connor Knowlton chasing down Brandon Fetterplace in that 5th position. At the front, Noah Belleville leads Josh Gaiman, who goes around in the dark purple Camaro. Not the start he wanted. Listen to him struggle to put the power down in that supercar. The 61 driver now trying to stay in that top 6, having a hard time of it, struggling to wrestle that race car around, and he keeps it moving. Belleville out to a 1.7 second lead over Jeremy Brio. Nick Pressey in 3rd, Brandon Fetterplace in 4th. Connor Knowlton rounds out your top 5. And how about this battle here with Josh Gaiman ahead of Briley Wright? Gaiman on the right-hand side of Connor Knowlton. That's the pass for 4th. Briley Wright now going 3 wide out of turn number 1, almost 3 wide with Toby Estes. Matt Seeger now behind the Fuchsia Mustang, and there's contact. Briley Wright goes around. Matt Seeger continues, and Briley Wright just survives being turned 180. Let's go on board again with Briley, right along here. This is Matt Seeger, actually. Now we're on board with Briley Wright. How about that for trying to get a move on? See Briley putting tires out into the grass. He's headed into the boot. Here's the track map if you've never seen Watkins Glen before. Coming into what is known as, well, the ankle of the boot, if you will. Kevin Feemster goes around back there. And his green Mustang. Now trying to just keep it moving in the right place. He's got heavy damage on the right front throw. A lot of drivers have incurred damage. Obviously, it's a struggle to get the car going. Briley Wright looks like he's gone off the racetrack, and he jumps right to the pits. What happens with Briley here? Briley goes right into the racetrack and just sails into the barrier. And that's the afternoon for Briley, I think. He's in the pits, and we'll see if he tries to get that race car repaired. Noah Belleville leads by 1.8 seconds over Jeremy Brio. Nick Pressey's in 3rd. These drivers have managed to stay all in the same place. And now these drivers shuffling positions. That's Fetterplace in the Salmon Machine. Gaiman on the left-hand side. 2 Camaros fighting for 4th. And Gaiman with a big slide out of turn number 1. now headed into the bus stop, almost still side by side. Brandon Fetterplace gets a great run on Josh Gaiman, but Gaiman looks like he has the advantage, and he will take the advantage into the bus stop. Check out the spray on Fetterplace's machine. Toby Estes and Matt Seeger going at it again. Two Mustangs side by side headed into the boot. Connor Knowlton with a huge slide headed into the boot. He's going to go for, I was going to say a spin. He saves it and proves me wrong. This is an 8th place, by the way. Meanwhile, Toby Estes and Matt Seeger still fighting. This is challenging to say the least when the racetrack is dry, but now the racetrack is wet. Matt Seeger just starting to pull away from Toby Estes. This is 6th place at stake. Tommy Withers looks like he's having some issues in the hot pink machine. Let's see what happened to the Virginia. Oh, huge damage to the Virginia pilot. What happens here? Did he just fly off the course? Yeah, big slide. And oof. Enough to peel the front off, and now he's not even able to drive the race car. So with no front end, Tommy Withers will soldier on in the 13th position. We'll see if he comes into the pits. Briley Wright, he got the race car repaired. He's still fighting. He's going to go into the boot here, and he's got control of his Camaro. Brio goes purple. What was a 2-second gap for Noah Belleville now becomes 0.4 of a second. Jeremy Brio now chasing down Belleville. This is into the boot. Side by side, Camaro versus Mustang. 16 to go this time by. Jeremy Brio a 1/4 of a second behind Noah Belleville. Emily Seeger's in the house cheering on for her brother Matt. This is the lead about to change hands. Brio in that purple Mustang next to the maroon Camaro of Noah Belleville, who now finds himself in 2nd. We've got a new leader at the Glen. Brio now in the lead, but it's only a slim lead. 1/2 a second back to Missouri's Noah Belleville. Brooklyn's Nick Pressey in 3rd. Josh Gaiman in that 4th position, just outside the podium. How about this battle here? It's Estes and Seeger again. This time, Toby Estes now sliding into 6th, or will he? Out of the final corner. And Toby Estes just sneaks into 6th. Let's go on board. Oh, Matt Seeger goes in really hot into turn number 1. He's going to use all of that runoff area. And Toby Estes will comfortably run off with the position. Not only that, but Connor Knowlton will sneak right ahead of Matt Seeger. Seeger's got to lift to avoid contact with the silver Mustang, and now down the back straight. Seeger just trying to see headed into the bus stop. He's going to get on the brakes. Look at that. The way he jumps over the rumble strips. And he can't see Connor Knowlton ahead of him. Seeger on the binders hard. Jacob Bradley, who had an incident on lap number 1. Let's check this out. This is last week's Daytona winner crashing on the first lap. Watch this. next to the salmon-colored machine of Brandon Federplace. This is on lap 1, turn 1. The cold tires don't do him any favors. Now to the inside of Connor Knowlton. Going through the heel section of the boot, leaving the boot, and now headed back onto what you might know as the NASCAR course. Nick Pressey has taken the lead, by the way. Where were we? Where Nick Pressey ends up taking the lead. I missed out on a lot here. This is Jeremy Brio going off track. Was there an incident here with Noah Belleville? Brio, no, that's Josh Gaiman, I'm sorry. We're going to go back to what happened to Jeremy Brio there. I think while we were watching the incident with Withers, I'm not sure. I'm completely lost. But let's try to backtrack and find out exactly what happened as Nick Pressey is your new leader at his home track. This is on lap 5. Jeremy Brio is just going off here. I'm not sure if he's going to go off the track here, and he's going to jump to the pits, unfortunately. Now, where on earth did Nick Pressey come and take this lead? Where was I not paying attention? Because that's unbelievable. And that's where it is right there. So Nick Pressey makes his way up to battle with Josh Gaiman and Noah Belleville. Brio is going to bow not out of the race that I know of, just in the pits. While we're missing more action all over the place, Josh Gaiman now sliding through the toe section of the boot. Nick Pressey now behind Noah Belleville. See if we can get some more of this action here. This is Josh Gaiman now getting around Nick Pressey for the lead. And I want to see Josh Gaiman now going around the toe section for the race lead while Noah Belleville hangs out in the 3rd position. We're going to catch up here. Look at that contact. Josh Gaiman just goes right into Nick Pressey. And I'm not sure if we missed any other contact that might have been made between them. Noah Belleville was overtaken for the 2nd position. And meanwhile, while all of this was going on, Connor Knowlton has an incident in the 07 Mustang. Oof. Great sound. Not a great slide. This is also Nick Pressey getting around Noah Belleville in the S's. This is on lap number 5. Pressey to the left-hand side of Noah Belleville. And Pressey just making his way through the track in a quick fashion. And we've got lucky number 13 laps to go next time by. What a race so far. At the front, Josh Gaiman leads Nick Pressey by 2.5 seconds. Check out what happened to Ryan Pennell as well. This is Noah Belleville in real time, now behind Nick Pressey for the 2nd position. This is on lap number 6. Going into the heel, Ryan Pennell with an already damaged front end. And this is Tristan Catania on the same lap, same corner. Actually, right in front of Ryan Pennell, now that you mention it. And just hits the rumble strips and loses control. Back to live pictures, Josh Gaiman dominating by 3.2 seconds. Nick Pressey in that 2nd position. Noah Belleville running in 3rd, and Brandon Federplace 1.5 seconds behind. Order somewhat restored. Brandon Federplace taking it nice and slow through the heel section. Noah Belleville creeping up on Nick Pressey. And Gaiman now just dominating with the largest lead we've seen all day. Drivers expected to go 12 to 14 laps on a tank of fuel, but I don't know if they're going to make it that far, to be honest with you. Not with these drying track conditions and the cars getting faster. Gaiman with a big skid out of that final corner. Nick Pressey watches Noah Belleville get closer. Pressy putting wheels into the grass and getting perilously close to more danger, but he holds on to that second position. Noah Belleville rolling along in third. Brandon Fetterplace rolling in fourth. So far, so good throughout the rest of the field. Drivers kind of in their own spaces now. Jacob Bradley catching up to Toby Estes, who is some good distance from Brandon Fetterplace, and everybody at least 2 or 3 seconds from everybody else. Over the last 5 laps, though, Ryan Pennell has been slowly catching up to Matt Seeger. Well, that's actually not true at all, is it? Look at the numbers as I just put them up now. As I'm seeing them for the first time, Ryan Pennell actually losing multiple seconds to Matt Seeger, except that last lap, Ryan Pennell catching up 5.5 seconds to Matt Seeger, and also still closing in on the 9th position. Back to second place. Noah Belleville has overtaken Nick Pressy. Pressy wants to get behind Belleville, and Fetterplace is closely following behind that gray Mustang. Pressy gives it a shake out of the foot section, if you will, and is sandwiched between Noah Belleville and Brandon Fetterplace. Let's have another look at how this occurred. Pressy just with a bad exit out of the toe section. Have another look. This is Nick Pressy getting around Noah Belleville early, well, on the earlier lap here. Pressy's into the pits. 2 other drivers are in. Brandon Fetterplace, Toby Estes, and they did not make it to halfway. So drivers getting approximately, 8 laps, not even 9 laps on 1 tank of fuel. Does that mean Josh Gaiman is going to be into the pits? Noah Belleville at 5.6 seconds behind Josh Gaiman. Pressy's on his way out. Fetterplace on his way out. Toby Estes the same on cold tires, mind you. Ryan Pennell on warm tires and chasing down Toby Estes at a quick pace. We'll see how these drivers manage on stone-cold tires on a wet racetrack with 12 laps to go at the Glen. If you just tuned in, caution free, and you've missed quite a lot. There's Toby Estes trying to kick up as much water as he can on those cold tires. He puts the Mustang well into the bus stop. Brandon Fetterplace rolling in 7th. Nick Pressy in the 6th position. And the Brooklyn driver, 5 seconds behind Kevin Feemster with a damaged right front. And Feemster just trying to hobble that race car along, trying to make sure he keeps it moving in the right direction. Josh Gaiman is in. The leader is finally in, coming to 11 laps to go. Noah Belleville will stay out and attempt to make it to half distance in this race. So quick math will tell you that Josh Gaiman might not make it on fuel, but it's going to be a gamble. 10 to go next time by at the Glen. Belleville leads by an almost incredible 11 seconds over Jacob Bradley, who, on his day, you better watch out. But Bradley is moving at an incredibly fast pace. If you watched Thursday Night Thunder last season, it's no secret. Jacob Bradley is just very, very good at racing. So we'll see what unfolds over these next 10.5 laps. Josh Gaiman rejoins the race with a big slide on those cold tires. He sits in 3rd, and Nick Pressy on warm tires exiting turn number 1. Let's ride on board. Gaiman back up to racing speed and 3 seconds ahead of Brooklyn's Nick Pressey. Brandon Fetterplace approximately half that distance to the gray 94. Toby Estes 18 seconds ahead of Connor Knowlton in 7th. He just needs to hold that Mustang together, and you've got to give it up to Toby, because for a guy that does not like road course racing very much, he's pretty good at it. The Greensburg, Kentucky native. In the 6th position, we'll get around Brandon Fetterplace, who must have had an incident here. What happened to the salmon-colored Camaro? And just a slow... Let's run this back. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Brandon. Just slow coming into the heel, gives it a skid, and he keeps it off the wall, but it costs him a position. Meanwhile, DeSoto's Noah Belleville in for tires and fuel. Jacob Bradley will now follow him with a big slide from the 50. Nick Pressey was able to overtake Josh Gaiman, and if he can hold the position, he will be your race leader. This is the pass. Did Josh Gaiman have a skid? Whoa! What was that? What was that? This is Nick Pressey going off track earlier here. No, same incident. So let's run this back and see what happened to Josh Gaiman, where he's slow coming out of the toe section. So Gaiman, oh, with a big slide coming out of the toe. Let's go on board. And Gaiman just seemingly driving left while Pressey's there. Let's run this one back. Noah Belleville still being scored as your race leader, by the way. Yeah, Gaiman just, there's the slide by Gaiman. We'll revisit this. Let's go back to live pictures, because Noah Belleville is holding on for his dear life against Nick Pressey and Josh Gaiman. Jeremy Brio's gone off track. It's 9 laps to go this time by. Noah Belleville, Josh Gaiman, and Jacob Bradley all pitting. Gaiman came in again on lap number 10. Well, I wonder if it was a penalty of some sort. And you see Noah Belleville, who's blinking quite a bit. If that internet connection does not hold up, iRacing will send him to the pits. Belleville with a huge blink. Nick Pressey right behind him. And Noah Belleville seemingly appearing and disappearing. What iRacing calls packet loss. And if it's too much blinking, Noah Belleville will get sent to the pits. Grandma Jeannie in the house saying she's missed 3/4 of the race. Grandma Jeannie, you're just in time for the best part. Look at Josh Gaiman with a big slide out of the ankle section of the racetrack, if you will. Gaiman with huge blinks himself, and Gaiman might be plagued by the same incident as Noah Belleville. There is the dark purple 61 now coming out of the final corner. And in the 5th position, Brandon Fetterplace in 4th. And Noah Belleville jumping all over the timing and scoring chart with the blinks from the 41. Pressey in the 2nd position, and I don't think Nick Pressey has to push the issue. He just might have to wait out Noah Belleville's internet connection. Toby Estes in that 3rd position. He might move up a spot. So while Belleville is quick on the racetrack, he's got to finish this race before the internet gives out. Half a second is the gap between 1st and 2nd. Let's go on board with Nick Pressey. Love the sound of these cars accelerating. It sounds so good. Noah Belleville 1.8 seconds ahead of Nick Pressey. Toby Estes 2 seconds adrift of the Brooklyn pilot. And Fetterplace chewing up the distance. How about 12th place up for grabs? Tommy Withers and Tristan Catania will be two Mustangs slugging it out on the racetrack, and Tristan, with an extremely damaged front bumper, will still race super hard against his friend Tommy Withers. Tristan Catania will send it in way too hot in turn number 1, and Tommy Withers gets a big break. Emily asking what happened with Matt Seeger, what made him pit more than I thought he needed to. He didn't have a wreck at any point. No, Matt pitted on lap number 8. And unless a caution comes out, Matt will have to pit again because I don't believe he's got enough fuel to go the distance in this race. I think Seeger just struggling to get a hold of his Lime Mustang in the rain, and that might tell the whole story right there. Matt Seeger drifting into the boot and headed into the tow section. Struggles to have that race car moving in the right direction. Belleville just went green, his personal best. 2:02.13, the Missouri pilot is the leader. Nick Pressy's in second, and Toby Estes rolls in third. Brandon Fetterplace in fourth. These are the points coming into round number 2. Jacob Bradley winning last week's race at Daytona. Collects 10 points for the victory. Matt Seeger finished second. He has 9 points, and 8 and 7, and so on. So you're looking at the scoring system. 10th place on down, all score 1 point. So, Briley Wright, who is still being scored as in the pit, I think getting some service right now. Even if he finishes 14th, he'll score the same amount of points as Kevin Feemster does in the 10th position. From Ryan Pennell, who's running in 9th on upwards, he gets 2 points. So looking at Ryan Pennell's position in this chart, he's sitting in 10th right now. 2 points right now for Ryan would elevate him up to 8th, where he's sitting in what is a 6-way tie for 10th. So technically he's 15th in the points. So every position matters. One position could vault you up 7 places in the standings by the end of today. It really can. So every spot matters in AROC. Kevin Feemster and Tommy Withers will also do battle. They're 11th and 10th right now. Toby Estes. And Brandon Fetterplace separated by just a second. Fetterplace creeping up on the podium. Kevin Feemster now trying to chase down Tommy Withers. This is for 10th. This is Jeremy Brio on lucky lap number 13, headed into the tow. A huge slide, and he keeps it off the wall, so big heads-up play by Toby. Third place, Toby Estes leading Brandon Fetterplace. The Fuchsia Mustang against the salmon-colored Camaro into the boot. Let's see if Fetterplace makes his move. Estes going wide out of the tow section. Fetterplace will get a great run. Oh, Toby Estes with a huge skid, and that's going to be that fight right there. Toby Estes just spins in a huge fashion. Let's see what happened with the Greensburg pilot. Not how we wanted to end that one. I think he tries to save it, goes for a big spin, and just keeps it off the wall. That's Tristan Catania getting around him, so the Greensburg native in that 5th position now, while Noah Belleville leads by 5.8 seconds over Brooklyn's Nick Pressey. Toby Estes is into the pits. 5 laps to go, and I wonder what he might be pulling off here. Jeremy Brio and Tommy Withers now fighting for 9th. Let's go on board. Kevin Feemster also involved in 8th. Check this out. Brio now trying to make a move on the Virginian. Remember, the track is still wet. Watch the spray coming off of Withers' car. Jeremy Brio goes for a skid and loses all that distance. Oh, Tommy Withers will do the same. They're just handing these positions to each other. Withers goes wide out of the toe. Jeremy Brio gives a small skid. Out of the toe, headed into the heel, and out of the boot. It is 5 to go next time by. This racing has been awesome. Matt Seeger's had an incident. What happened with the... Matt Seeger and Connor Knowlton had incident at the same time. This is Seeger in the toe section. Does he put too much power down? Yeah, I think he puts too much power down. Connor Knowlton also on lap 14. Big incident for him. This is out of the final corner. And I think he's... Oh! Puts the power down on the rumble strips, and he's going to jump to the pits. He needs a tow there. Matt Seeger running in 10th. And Noah Belleville puts him a lap down. So Matt Seeger is the first car at least 1 lap down. And if the caution comes out in the next 5 laps, which it probably won't, Matt Seeger will get his lap back. Meanwhile, Jeremy Brio and Kevin Feemster will now do battle. Where did this fighting spirit come from? Out of the Massachusetts pilot, Brio in the purple Mustang gets around the Kelly Green Mustang of Kevin Feemster. That is 7th and 8th now, respectively. Kevin Feemster trying to wreck the race car, putting it into the grass, making it easy for Tommy Withers to get a run into the bus stop. Brio, Feemster, and Withers, who now dashes any hopes of making an attack on Kevin Feemster. Tommy Withers with a big skid. Onto the rumble strips. I hope he doesn't put too much power down. And spins the race car. He doesn't. He keeps it moving. Kevin Feemster now trying to get his spot back from Jeremy Brio. And meanwhile, Ryan Pennell, who hates road courses, he says he's not great at racing in the rain and thought he would crash, is running in 6th, up 6 places from where he started. And the native of Albany, New York, by way of Good Hope, Georgia, at his home track, he's close to a top 5 finish if he can just make up 50 seconds. How about second place up for grabs? Nick Pressey and Brandon Fetter place side by side. Will they make contact through the toe section? Great run for Fetter place. Pressey as well, playing really good defense on the left-hand side of the salmon-colored Camaro, and the charcoal Mustang will outbrake Fetter place through the heel. Caution free at Watkins Glen. Nick Pressey now sits 0.6 of a second ahead of Brandon Fetterplace, who will mount an excellent charge into turn number 1. Let's go on board with him. Pressey's in. Fetterplace is in. They're both going to come in for tires and fuel. Remember, Noah Belleville pitted on lap 10. However, the track has been drying out. He's been using more fuel. Will he have the gas to make it? You know who also pitted on lap 10? Jacob Bradley. And if Bradley's been saving just enough fuel to go 11 laps, he just might get there before Belleville does. But of course, remember, Belleville has that legendary internet that makes it impossible to track his race car. So we have no idea if Noah Belleville's even going to survive to the end of this race. Through the carousel, we'll see if he can just make it safely into the entry of the boot. Did Noah Belleville just go flying off the race? No, he didn't. Okay. He blinked, and I thought that he just went off the track. No, he's going to make it just fine. There's Belleville in one piece. Toby Estes, meanwhile, just went purple. 2:01.28. See the spray coming off the race car. Look at the water just standing under the rumble strips there. Definitely nowhere near dry tire territory. But Toby Estes doing his thing. He's got the fastest lap of the race so far. We've got 3 laps to go this time by. And the question on everybody's minds, will Belleville and Bradley have enough fuel to make it? Nick Pressey certainly does. He pitted on lap 16, along with Brandon Fetterplace, and Toby Estes pitted on lap 14. He's got a new fastest lap, and he's going to have a new scratch on that race car if he doesn't stay off the grass. He does stay off the grass, and he keeps it moving in one piece. Meanwhile, 3rd place up for grabs. Brandon Fetterplace looks like he just lost that battle emphatically through the toe. Is he going to have a challenge into heel? 1 second the gap between them. A lot of single car incidents in this race. And you almost can't see any spray coming off these race cars, but again, that doesn't mean that the track is dry. It's still extremely damp. Toby Estes, there you see lurking in the distance, 5 seconds behind Brandon Fetterplace. What does the Ohio driver have for the Brooklyn native? Let's go on board with Brandon. Into the bus stop, Brandon Fetterplace just trying to mount a big charge on Nick Pressey. And he's going to have to get closer than that. Through the carousel, there's Matt Seeger, and there's our 2 combatants. Jeremy Brio has been fighting this race car all night long. Let's see what happened to him. This is recently on lap 17. Looks like he just flew off the racetrack there. And he does indeed, and keeps that in one piece. All right, back to matters that matter. Ryan Pennell and Kevin Feemster swapping spots. That's 7th and 8th. Remember, 3 and 4 points up for grabs here, so both drivers are going to skyrocket in the standings. Nick Pressey, on that other hand, coming to 2 laps to go. He wants that podium. He wants that post-race interview. Brandon Fetterplace, 0.4 of a second behind the Brooklyn pilot. It's Mustang versus Camaro for the bronze medal at Watkins Glen. Fetterplace is there. Does he have enough pressure to force a mistake? How about Matt Seeger putting the car on the grass and skillfully staying out of their way? Check that out again. Well, here's the battle. Fetterplace is there. We'll see if we can go back to that incident. How about this? Brandon, will he move Nick Pressey on board with Fetterplace? Fetterplace with the advantage. Pressey runs it wide, and that's 3rd place, and it's an all Chevrolet front row. I say front row, it's an all Chevrolet podium as Brandon Fetterplace takes 3rd from Nick Pressey. Toby Estes in 4th goes fastest again, 1:59.98. It is our quickest time and our only time under 2 minutes. 1:59.98 for Toby Estes. 4th place, not out of the realm of possibility. Brandon Fetterplace, on the other hand, now makes it a bow tie podium. 1.8 seconds now the gap between him and Nick Pressey. Matt Seeger just trying to hold on to that top 10. And, well, I think no matter what he does, he's going to hold on to that top 10 because Connor Knowlton, Tristan Catania, and Josh Gaiman all being scored out of this race. And Briley Wright will soon run out of enough laps to finish any better than 14th. So it looks like a solid top 10 for Matt Seeger, and all he had to do was try. White flag is in the air for Noah Belleville. He pits on lap 10, as does Jacob Bradley, and I doubt that the 50 car is going to come in for a splash of fuel despite the 20-second gap to Brandon Fetterplace. He will not, so it will be a white flag for Jacob Bradley as well, and Noah Belleville leads with what now has to be enough fuel to win this race. Let's go back to lap number 1 again, by the way. Check out the incident. Lap 1, turn 1. This is our second place finisher, Jacob Bradley, who's currently 16 seconds behind Noah Belleville. Winner last week at Daytona. And a big spin. Is that spin the reason that this man here has a 16-second gap? It just might be. You can't change it now. Less than half a lap to go for Noah Belleville, and the native of DeSoto, Missouri will go back to his winning ways. Meanwhile, Toby Estes, 1:59.98, his best lap. That's just been overtaken by Brandon Fetterplace, 1:59.67. So the second quickest man on the racetrack, now trying to take Nick Pressy's 4th place away into the bus stop. Noah Belleville through toe, now heel, and he will cruise his way on to victory. 7/10 the gap from Nick Pressy back to Toby Estes. Brandon Fetterplace, 3rd place is assured if he makes no mistakes. Victory is assured for Noah Belleville if he does not wreck that maroon-colored Camaro on the way to victory. These points are going to take a huge turn. Don't get comfy with these positions. They're going to be changed very, very shortly, and it starts with this guy here. Round 2, and it's position number 1. Noah Belleville wins at Watkins Glen. 4th place, Nick Pressy, just trying to hold on through the heel section of the boot. Toby Estes is right there, half a second the gap. Does Toby have enough? Mustang on Mustang Racing for the 4th position. Huge splash from the rumble strips. Nick Pressy opens the door. Toby Estes is there. Does Toby use the bumper on Nick? Out of that final corner, Nick Pressy will have enough. Toby Estes mounts one final charge, and the Brooklyn pilot comes home in 4th to the Greensburg pilot's 5th place. Solid effort all around. Great racing from start to finish. Brandon Fetterplace 3rd, Jacob Bradley in 2nd, Noah Belleville in 1st. When's the last time we talked to Noah Belleville? When's the last time he won a race, all right? We'll talk to him. We'll talk to our podium in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. On the podium with our top 3, starting with tonight's bronze medalist, Brandon Fetterplace. In your first AROC start, coming home with a 3rd place finish. Not a bad start, man. Congratulations. How'd you enjoy the rain?
Actually, it was definitely entertaining. I mean, these cars are pretty wild in the rain, so it definitely was not boring at all.
Normal service will resume next week when we go to the Indianapolis Oval, but not a bad start on third. How do you think you're going to do at Indy? Is it going to be another podium?
I sure hope so. I like these cars. These cars are actually a whole lot of fun. I tend to like the road courses a little bit more in this car, but I've also never driven it on an oval, so I guess we'll find that out next week.
We're going to find out in a week. I'm excited. Congratulations on third.
Thank you very much.
Briley, you've got our silver medalist and season 10 TNT champion, Jacob Bradley.
All right, Jacob. It seems like you normally dominate a lot of these races, and you kind of were in third, fourth, not really up in first place like we're used to seeing you. Where did you seem to struggle at tonight?
Jacob Bradley, is he even in here? Yeah, he's in here. Jake, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. All right, sorry about that.
Okay. I had the greatest lap one in the history of all racing. I spun myself out through turn one, wrecked myself through the bus stop, started like 15 seconds behind the field. It was a pretty good start, and I don't know. I just started saving gas from there. Got, I guess, a little bit lucky that the strategy worked out, and I didn't run out myself out of gas, which I did a little bit better on the start and didn't look like as much of a clown, but pretty good race overall.
It could have been worse. You could have been me. I finished dead last and wrecked on my own. So you still come back and got P2. Not surprised at all. Did a great job coming back through the field.
Thank you.
Shout out to Briley Wright, by the way. Last minute here, I was going to bring him in the booth, but I completely was not paying attention to any notifications and just trying to finish this race. So thank you, Briley, for coming in last minute. Congratulations to Jacob on his second place finish. Let me bring up these points real quick while we talk to our race winner, one Noah Belleville. Moldy, for those that know, pretty much pulled a Jacob Bradley tonight. We used to see you do this in TNT. Now we see you do this in AROC. You look like you had fun. You had no competition out there. Well, mostly no competition. You were part of some good battles, too.
Yeah, it was pretty solid race. I felt pretty comfortable. I kind of just decided on that first run to do most of my fuel saving because it's easier to save fuel on the rain, and I think I even saved an extra lap than I needed to. I know Bradley was on that same strategy, but whenever I came back out at the halfway point, I was good by a lap, but as the track kept drying, the fuel economy just kept getting worse and worse, and then all of a sudden, about 5 laps into that last run, I realized that I needed to save even more. So it was a very interesting race, fuel strategy-wise, because I've never really had a track like that where with it drying and the fuel becoming worse and worse as you're going faster and faster with the track drying, you gotta save more and more. So it was kind of interesting, but I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun, too. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad you learned something new. I guess we know how these cars behave in the rain now, and a lot of us learned a lot, and a lot of us learned too much. But I think everybody, for the most part, had a good time. Unofficially, into next week's race, Noah, right now you're only 1 point behind Jacob Bradley, headed into next week's race at Indianapolis. Brandon Fetterplace is tied with Kevin Feemster, 8 points apiece. So headed into next week, we're going to have a lot of fun. Congratulations.
Yep, thank you.
Briley Wright, I hope you had a lot of fun as well, man. I'm sorry you finished dead last, but it sounded like before all the chaos and at least watching some of the race, it was a good time.
Oh, it was a blast. It's just not my thing. I could not handle it. I definitely needed more practice. Didn't really have the time to get it in, but it was still a good time. And these guys out here, they're so fast. It's just hard to keep up with them. But hey, it is what it is. I still had a good time.
Hopefully we see you next week at the Indianapolis Oval as well. I have no idea what these cars are going to do, so we're going to figure out one lap at a time, man. But congratulations on at least that start. Congratulations on scoring a point, and we'll go forward from here. Folks at home, that next race if you haven't heard, by the way, is at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's going to be right here on Rick James TV, 8:40 Eastern next Thursday night. We take a break, and then in 3 weeks, if my math is right, we're going to race at Walton Park for the first time ever on Rick James TV. So follow us on Twitter. Any socials you might have, we might be there too. So congratulations to Noah Belleville. My thanks to Briley Wright. My thanks to everybody who spent the last better part of an hour watching supercars dance through the rain. Until that next race, everybody stay safe, take care of each other. We'll see you all around the corner.